comes with the Hero 11 Black. Let's open up the case and see what's inside. So the first little paper here just shows us that your camera has to be updated before you can use it, and of course I'm going to help you do that. This of course here is the GoPro Hero 11 Black camera, so we'll get that all set up. Right here is the USB-C cable, which is used for charging your camera and connecting it to a computer if you need to. This is the Enduro battery, which is GoPro's higher performance battery, and it's now included with the Hero 11 Black, so you'll get extra battery life every time you go use your camera, which is great news. This is a curved adhesive mount. I'll give you guys plenty of tips on mounting your camera. This is called a mounting buckle, which is used for mounting your camera, and this is the thumb screw which you use to attach your camera to the mounting buckle. But we'll check that out in the mounting section, and I'll get you guys all set up. So up here we have a few papers. This is a micro SD card that came with this kit. Some of the GoPro cameras come with a micro SD card and some don't, but you need to make sure that you get a micro SD card to store all of your camera's photos and videos. I'll put a link to some recommended micro SD cards in the description below, so if you haven't got a micro SD card yet, or you just want a larger capacity one, you can check that out. Now let's remove the packaging from the Hero 11 Black. So you can just slip off this little paper cover that was used for the packaging. You can also remove these little lens covers. There's one on the front display screen, one over the lens, and one on the back of the camera covering the touchscreen. Next, go ahead and grab the Enduro battery and also the micro SD card. We're going to get those in the camera so we get your camera charged. The battery and micro SD card go into the side door here on the side of the camera. To open that door up, just slide the tab down at the bottom and lift the door up. If you lift the door too far up, it'll actually snap off. It's meant to do that, but you don't want to do that right now because we're just getting the camera set up. That's just so you can insert it into the media mod or use it with other accessories. Grab the micro SD card first, and it goes in this little tiny slot here on the side of the camera. Just have the text of the micro SD card facing the back of the camera, and you can push it down with your thumbnail so it's flush to the camera. Then just grab the battery so the text on the back of the battery is facing the back of the camera, and push it down into the slot all the way so it's flush like this. Now grab the USB-C cable and you can plug it into this little port right here. This is what we're going to use to charge the camera. You can plug the other end of the USB cable into a portable power pack, a wall charger, or a computer. And once the camera starts charging, you're going to see this little red light on the front of your GoPro come on. It can take up to a few hours for the camera to charge, and when the camera is done charging, the light should turn off. You can push pause on this video while your camera charges and come back and finish it as soon as your camera battery is charged. Once that red light turns off on the front of the camera, you can just remove the USB cable and close the side door. Just want to make sure that side door is completely closed so there's no red showing. Having this door closed completely keeps your camera waterproof, so you don't want to have any water leak in there because that is how it could ruin your camera. Charging the batteries in the camera is not that convenient, so I definitely recommend that you get the dual battery charger and a spare battery. That way when the battery runs out, you can just pull the battery out, switch it out, and you've got a fresh one to go. Now that your camera's all charged up, let's power it on. We're going to go through some setup items and update the camera's firmware so you get the latest features on the Hero 11 Black. The first thing it's going to ask is just to choose your language, so you can just scroll up or down to choose your language and hit that check mark. Then you can agree to legal stuff and go ahead and turn the GPS on for stats when you're using the Quick app. Now it's going to prompt you to connect to the GoPro Quick app so we can update the camera's firmware, and we'll get you connected so you can transfer footage and do all of that other fun stuff too. So go ahead and grab your phone. If you don't have the Quick app on your phone yet, you can go into your app store and just search for GoPro Quick, and the app looks just like this. So download the app or open it if you already have it. So your camera's already in pairing mode. If you tap this icon on the top left screen here, it should see your camera. Then you can just follow through the prompts. It's going to ask you to connect. Once your camera is paired to the Quick app, it's going to ask you if you want to change the camera name. I'm just going to leave it as is. And then it's going to start downloading the update to your phone. Once this update downloads to the phone, it's actually going to transfer wirelessly over to your GoPro and update the camera's firmware wirelessly. It takes a few minutes for the update to happen, so just go ahead and press pause on this video and follow the prompts. When the update's complete, you'll see a check mark on the phone, and also your camera will power back on and it's going to show easy mode. Now that the camera firmware is updated, close the GoPro app and we'll come back to that later. But right now I want to give you a camera tour to show you around the modes and settings of the GoPro Hero 11 Black. Now I'm going to show you some of the new features of the GoPro Hero 11 Black and show you around the camera so you can understand how to use it and how to start filming with it. This is the removable lens cover here on the front of the camera, and it actually has a hydrophobic coating, so when this gets wet, water sheds off of it really easily, which prevents water spots in your shot. So I really like that feature, and they've continued with that. This is the side power mode button on the side of your camera to turn on and off your camera, and also to switch modes. Right below the power mode button is this little thing that looks like a door, but it's actually a microphone drain, so don't try to open that because you'll break your camera. On the back, you've got the touch display screen, which I'll go through and show you all the features of, and you've got an LED light to show you when you're recording. This is that side door that I already showed you before with the battery and micro SD card. This is one of the microphones. There's also one on top of the camera. And on the bottom of the camera, we have what are called the mounting fingers. You can flip those down when you want to mount your GoPro to a variety of mounts, which I'll also show you. On the top of the camera here, we have a microphone opening. We also have the shutter button, which is this red circle, and that's used to start and stop recording videos, or to take photos. So if your camera is not already powered on, just press that side power mode button and you can turn your camera on. I want to help you change one setting real quick before we go through this tour. Swipe down from the top of the screen and you'll bring up the dashboard. And if you swipe over one more screen, at the bottom left corner here, you see controls. Just go ahead and tap that up to Pro, and that's going to give you all of the setting options here on the Hero 11 Black. Now I don't want you to be confused that the settings are not there, so we're just going to change that to Pro, and that way you get the maximum out of this camera. You'll be able to understand it after we do this camera tour, no problem. So don't worry if this is a lot to remember. I have a very useful book written for the GoPro Hero 11 Black that has everything you need to know about this camera. So you can just watch this and go and have that as a great reference guide anytime you're out filming. On the top right here, you have the battery percentage, shows the remaining battery life. These are the modes here, the different main modes for the GoPro Hero 11 Black. This shows the remaining storage left on your camera's micro SD card. Depending on the size of the card, it's going to vary, and also depending on which mode you're in. It'll either show photos or video time remaining. And these little 4 circle icons here are called shortcuts. They're customizable depending on the preset, which is that little icon in the middle of the screen. So each of those presets can have different shortcuts. And I have those customized in my book, just so you can get the maximum ease out of this camera, and you can really get the most out of each of those presets. But for now, it comes with a certain set of standard presets. You can tap on the preset to see the other presets that come with the camera. Now this is really exciting because GoPro's added some really cool new features in the camera, and there's more presets available, and also more aspect ratios, which I'm going to show you about and explain in just a second. So when you're in the list of presets, if you want to add more presets, you can tap on that little icon there, you can add a plus, and you can add more presets. If you want to edit the settings of any preset, you can just hold down on the preset icon, it'll go straight into the settings for that preset. Or you can also tap the little icon next to the preset in the list of presets. If you tap on the Res FPS, this is where you get the video resolution in frames per second. And this is where the main settings are changed. So you'll see now on the top little bar, these are called the aspect ratios, which is basically the shape of your video. And GoPro's added in an extra aspect ratio this year with their new sensor. So you'll see the 8:7 is a new. So you'll see now on the top little bar, these are called the aspect ratios, which is basically the shape of your video. And GoPro's added in an extra aspect ratio this year with their new sensor. So you'll see the 8:7 is a new aspect ratio. It's more of a big square rather than a rectangle. The second line down on the Res FPS screen is the video resolutions. That's basically the size of the video you're recording, with 5.3K being the largest, all the way down to 1080. On the bottom line are the frame rates. This is how you record in slow motion or super slow motion by changing those frame rates. Depending on your resolution, there's only going to be certain frame rate options available. So choosing the right combo is the key to getting high quality footage and great slow motion when you want it. Once you're happy with that, you can just tap on it and you'll go back into the settings. So there are a bunch more settings here, including lenses, which are an on-screen shortcut I'll show you in a minute, the video resolution in frames per second. And this is where the main settings are changed. So you'll see now on the top little bar, these are called the aspect ratios, which is basically the shape of your video. And GoPro's added in an extra aspect ratio this year with their new sensor. It's available. So choosing the right combo is the key to getting high quality footage and great slow motion when you want it. Once you're happy with that, you can just tap on it and you'll go back into the settings. So there are a bunch more settings here, including lenses, which are an on-screen shortcut I'll show you in a minute. We've got Hyper Smooth, which is GoPro's in-camera stabilization. And there's a new feature on there too, which I'll show you. And then you've got some other settings like Hindsight, where you can kind of record continuously, and once you want to keep something, you'll press the shutter button, it'll keep that little 15 or 30 second clip before when you start recording, which is kind of cool if you're filming a lot of things that you might not want to keep, and every once in a while there's a good one. So there are some other video settings here. I'm not going to go into all of them in this video because I just want to help you guys get started with your camera so you can get out there and start filming. One of the new features on the Hero 11 Black though is this 10-bit color, which adds a lot more colors. You've got about 1 billion colors now compared to when you're on 8-bit, you only have about 16 million. So it's going to be easier when you edit your footage to get really good colors. You won't notice it on lower res videos, but when you get into high res and good editing, you're definitely going to notice a difference. You also just want to go ahead and switch that bitrate over to high. It's going to give you higher quality video, and you want to just record the highest quality video possible. There are a lot of ProTune settings you can adjust to customize your video settings depending on your filming situation. These are the on-screen shortcuts like I showed you about before. This changes the frame rate. So it says 2 times slow-mo or 1 times normal speed, and it shows you the frame rate there. That's how you record slow motion video, although it will play back in regular speed and then you go to edit it. This is the digital lens icon here. If you tap on that, you're going to see the lenses available in the current video resolution that you're in. GoPro added a great new lens called HyperView on the Hero 11 Black, which gives you an even wider field of view, and it uses that new sensor. So if you're filming shots where something's really close to you, you can actually get way more in your shot. There are definitely times when you'll want to use HyperView and when you won't. It's got more distortion in it, but it also allows you to access a wider field of view when you've got your camera mounted. So that's a great new feature on the Hero 11 Black. Now the digital lenses go from widest to narrowest as you scroll down. You've got top, you've got HyperView, SuperView, which is a very wide field of view also. It's all just a little bit tighter than HyperView. Then you've got wide, which is the actual view through the GoPro's lens without any adjustments. Linear is going to straighten that horizon out. If you've got a crooked horizon, it'll kind of reduce that fisheye bubble. And then at the bottom here we have a very exciting new digital lens, which is called Linear plus Horizon Lock. Now this is pretty amazing because it actually locks the horizon. So once you start recording, you can rotate your camera 360 degrees, and that horizon is actually going to stay as is. So it's not going to rotate with the camera. This is what the Max Lens mod did on the Hero 10 and the Hero 9, but now it's built into the Hero 11 Black, and you can do it with 5K video and 4K video. So it's pretty amazing to have this feature built in. Once you've selected your lens, just tap that main screen. And this shortcut here is the shortcut for GoPro's in-camera stabilization, which is called HyperSmooth 5.0. And there's a new setting called Auto Boost. And that's going to actually adjust the hyper smooth stabilization depending on your activity. So it's going to sense how much movement it is and adjust your video throughout the process as you're filming. So Auto Boost is a great new feature on the Hero 11 Black because it's going to automatically adjust the amount of stabilization and the cropping. So when you use stabilization, it has to crop in more. Auto Boost will zoom out a little bit when you don't need as much stabilization. And it just uses it by sensing the amount of movement on your camera. Once you've selected your settings, press that top shutter button and that'll start recording video. You'll see a timer on the screen here. It shows how long your video is. Press the shutter button again when you want to stop recording, and that video will be saved to your micro SD card. If you swipe over to photo mode, you're going to see that the shortcut icons have changed because you're in a different preset. If you tap on the presets, there's a list of the different photo options. So you've got photo, which is for taking like scenic still shots or one single photo. You've got burst option, which will take a batch of photos over a short period of time. And you've got night photo mode, which is really cool when you want to capture some long exposure photos when it's dark out. Now let's swipe on over and check out the time-lapse modes on the Hero 11 Black. And there's some really cool new presets here in the time-lapse modes. And the first one is called Time Warp, and that's what you use to film stabilized hyperlapses, and that's been on the GoPro cameras for a few generations now. The first new time-lapse preset is called Star Trails, and this is awesome for creating night skies because it automatically creates those star trails. And I've been wanting this in the GoPro camera for a long time, so I'm really happy that GoPro added this to the GoPro Hero 11 Black. It saves you a lot of trouble in post-production creating that look. The next new time-lapse preset is called Light Painting, and this is really cool because light painting always used to result in just a single photo. But now with this mode, you can record your light painting where you play with light, and it uses that long exposure to make trails, but it actually comes out as a video, which is a really cool effect, and I think you'll have a lot of fun playing with this one. The last one they added is called Vehicle Lights, and this is where you can actually get those really long streaks of traffic lights when you record, which was hard to do before. I know you guys have watched a lot of my videos on night photos, composite night photos, but this actually does it in camera, so it's simplifying it a lot for all of us, and I'm really excited that it's available for you and for me. Then the other two time-lapse presets are just regular time-lapse mode and night-lapse mode, which are also very cool and creative, but they've been in the cameras before, so I won't go into depth on those ones. So that covers all the main modes that are on the Hero 11 Black. Now if you swipe down from the top of the screen, this brings up the dashboard. This has a few little icons on here that make it easier for you to change some of the quick settings, such as voice control, turning the beeps on and off. You've got quick capture, which is recording when the camera is off. You just press the shutter button, it'll start recording. On the right here is screen lock, which is very important. You can lock that screen when you're going in the water, or if your camera's in your pocket or something, so it doesn't change settings on you. On the bottom left here, you've got the front display options, which gives you different options for what you want to display on that front screen. So you can do a square view, which is kind of a cropped center view, which is nice for seeing how you look in shots. The next one over is the actual frame of what you're recording, so that's going to show you the full frame, which I find the most useful. The next one over is just the settings, so if you don't want to have that video showing on the front screen, that'll turn it off. And the last option is just to turn the front screen off completely, so nothing's displayed there. Then you've got orientation lock, which allows the video to rotate as you rotate your camera before you start recording. And the max lens mod icon here if you're going to be using that with the Hero 11. Movement it is, and adjust your video throughout the process as you're filming. So Auto Boost is a great new feature on the Hero 11 Black because it's going to automatically adjust the amount of stabilization and the cropping. So when you use stabilization, it has to crop in more. Auto Boost will zoom out a little bit when you don't need as much stabilization. And it just uses it by sensing the amount of movement on your camera. Once you've selected your settings, press that top shutter button and that'll start recording video. You'll see a timer on the screen here. It shows how long your video is. Press the shutter button again when you want to stop recording, and that video will be saved to your micro SD card. If you swipe over to photo mode, you're going to see that the shortcut icons have changed because you're in a different preset. If you tap on the presets, there's a list of the different photo options. So you've got photo, which is for taking like scenic still shots or one single photo. You've got burst option, which will take a batch of photos over a short period of time. And you've got night photo mode, which is really cool when you want to capture some long exposure photos when it's dark out. Now let's swipe on over and check out the time-lapse modes on the Hero 11 Black. And there's some really cool new presets here in the time-lapse modes. And the first one is called Time Warp, and that's what you use to film stabilized hyperlapses, and that's been on the GoPro cameras for a few generations now. The first new time-lapse preset is called Star Trails, and this is awesome for creating night skies because it automatically creates those star trails. And I've been wanting this in a GoPro camera for a long time, so I'm really happy that GoPro added this to the GoPro Hero 11 Black. It saves you a lot of trouble in post-production creating that look. The next new time-lapse preset is called Light Painting, and this is really cool because light painting always used to result in just a single photo. But now with this mode, you can record your light painting where you play with light, and it uses that long exposure to make trails, but it actually comes out as a video, which is a really cool effect, and I think you'll have a lot of fun playing with this one. The last one they added is called Vehicle Lights, and this is where you can actually get those really long streaks of traffic lights when you record, which was hard to do before. I know you guys have watched a lot of my videos on night photos and composite night photos, but this actually does it in camera, so it's simplifying it a lot for all of us, and I'm really excited that it's available for you and for me. Then the other two time-lapse presets are just regular time-lapse mode and night-lapse mode, which are also very cool and creative, but they've been in the cameras before, so I won't go into depth on those ones. So that covers all the main modes that are on the Hero 11 Black. Now if you swipe down from the top of the screen, this brings up the dashboard. This has a few little icons on here that make it easier for you to change some of the quick settings, such as voice control, turning the beeps on and off. You've got quick capture, which is recording when the camera is off. You just press the shutter button, it'll start recording. On the right here is screen lock, which is very important. You can lock that screen when you're going to water, or if your camera's in your pocket or something, so it doesn't change settings on you. On the bottom left here, you've got the front display options, which gives you different options for what you want to display on that front screen. So you can do a square view, which is kind of a cropped center view, which is nice for seeing how you look in shots. The next one over is the actual frame of what you're recording, so that's going to show you the full frame, which I find the most useful. The next one over is just the settings, so if you don't want to have that video showing on the front screen, that'll turn it off. And the last option is just to turn the front screen off completely, so nothing's displayed there. Then you've got orientation lock, which allows the video to rotate as you rotate your camera before you start recording. And the max lens mod icon here if you're going to be using that with your Hero 11. But like I said, Horizon Lock's built into this camera, so you probably won't even need to use the max lens mod. If you swipe over to the next screen, you've got some more options here. The video mode is set to highest. And this is an option if you want to slide it down to extended battery. That's going to give you more battery life, but take away some of those high resolution, high frame rate settings. That will help overheating too. But you can also just manually do that by switching the frame rate down to 30 frames per second. If you've got your camera, say, sitting on a desk inside, and you're not going to be moving it, and you just want to record for a long period of time. Otherwise, you shouldn't run into overheating issues out when you got some airflow around the camera. It's better to just record shorter stints and choose the right settings for what you're actually recording. And in the preferences menu, you've got some more options here just for setting up auto upload, your wireless connection if you need to go back into pairing mode, your camera settings such as auto power off, and some other items that are pretty useful. At the bottom of this menu is the format. You can format the memory card if you want to erase everything that's on it once it's been deleted. Then you can just press the side power mode button to escape out of that menu. And when you're in the recording screen, if you swipe up from the bottom of the screen, that's going to pull up your media tray. So it's going to show you all the media that's currently stored on your camera's micro SD card. So you can go one by one through the files, you can view them, delete them. If it was recorded in slow motion frame rate, you can also play it back in slow motion. But when you go transfer it to your phone or a computer, it's not going to be in slow motion until you actually edit it. It's just giving you a little preview here. If you want to delete files one by one, you can do that also. Or you can use this scroll icon to scroll through your videos to search for the best parts. You can also hit this grid, you'll see all the thumbnails of your shots on your card. You can select multiple files at one time, say if you want to batch erase them. After you're done looking at your media, you can swipe back down from the top of the screen, or you can press the side power mode button to get back into the recording screen. And when you're done, hold down the side power mode button for about 4 seconds and your camera will power off. You can also go and use the Quick app to change modes and settings and have a preview of what you're going to film. Since you've already connected to the GoPro Quick app with your camera when we updated the firmware, you should just power your camera on and open a Quick app and it should see your camera is found. And you can go into this area here, and this is where you can control the settings and change modes and do all the things that I just showed you on the touch screen. So this is really cool. You can also go to enable the preview and see through your camera's lens. Once you enable the preview, it's going to go into a full screen option. It's going to change the look a little bit, and then you can switch over and change your modes and settings. You can tap on your preset, change presets, or change the settings within each preset. Unfortunately, when you start recording, that preview will go away. I was hoping they were going to bring that back with the GoPro Hero 11, but the preview is not available while you're recording. So you can set up your shots, start recording, and when you're done recording, press it again, you'll stop recording. And then you'll see a live preview again. I'll talk about viewing your media when we go to transfer the footage here at the end of this little video. Now I want to give you some tips for mounting your GoPro Hero 11 Black, because mounting your camera is the way you're going to get some really creative, unique shots that are going to make your footage stand out. These are the mounting pieces that came with your GoPro Hero 11 Black. Of course, there's a lot to expand on from here, but this is just the start. So if you take your camera and you lower these mounting fingers down, that's how you mount your camera to a mount. These are replaceable. If they get corroded, you can just unscrew them and order a new one. But you take the mounting fingers and you slide them into the buckle here, and then you line up the holes, and you might have to wiggle it a little bit, insert the thumb screw, and tighten it up. You want to make sure when you're out there filming that you tighten it really tight, because your camera will move more than you think when you're out there filming. The buckle can slide into a variety of mounts, or this curved adhesive mount like this one that came with your camera, which is primarily used for mounting on helmets or other curved surfaces. I'll show you how to mount an adhesive mount in just a minute. So you just lift that black locking plug and slide it in until it clicks into place. You'll hear a little click, and you'll be able to push that locking plug down. There are other mounts like this one, which is GoPro's floating handle, which you also slide the buckle into to mount your camera. But some mounts use a direct-to-mount system, just like this one, where you actually just slide the mounting fingers directly into the mount. So you're not using a buckle on this one. So you do the same thing, you just line up the holes, tighten that thumb screw, and you're ready to go. And it's nice to get a good handle to hold your camera so you can get a little more distance between yourself. This one's called a shorty, but sometimes I like to use longer handles, such as GoPro or Grande, or any extension pole to get more distance between you and your camera. That allows for some really cool creative shots. Of course, when you don't want your camera mounted, you can just remove your camera, fold up those mounting fingers, and use it like a regular camera. If you're taking your camera in the water, it doesn't float, so you want to make sure you have something that's going to float your camera. You can either use the floaty like this one, which will float your camera if it gets lost. And this is usually for when your camera's mounted. Or you can use a floating handle without the floaty, since that thing's kind of bulky, and that handle will actually float your camera. The GoPro camera itself is waterproof to 33 feet deep with no additional case, as long as you have that side door shut. If you're going deeper than 33 feet deep though, you want to use this protective housing or another dive housing that allows you to go deeper. The protective housing is also kind of nice if you're in a real sandy environment or a real muddy environment and you just want to keep your camera protected. But it does affect the audio, so you want to use it sparingly. And if you want to mount your camera vertically, you're going to have to get a special mount for that, such as this one, which I'll put a link to in the video description below. That allows you to mount your camera vertically so you can record vertical videos. If you're using the horizon lock lens, you can also rotate your camera vertically, start recording, and then you can mount your camera horizontally the normal way, and it'll still record in that vertical orientation. If you do want to use an adhesive mount, like the curved adhesive mount that came with your camera, or this one, which is the surfboard mount, has a little more surface area, so I like to use this one. Just peel off the adhesive liner, make sure you have a clean surface that's non-flexible and non-porous, and then stick that mount on there, push it down really firm, and let it set for at least 24 hours to get a nice contact with that surface. Since I'm on a short board here, I'm just going to put it towards the edge without using this extra little mount that's for a camera tether. I'm just going to mount it on there and wait a little bit. Then you can slide the camera in there, press down the locking plug, and you're good to go. Of course, you want to make sure that camera floats if you think you might lose it. I've got tons of great mounting tips and more in the book for the Hero 11 Black, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in taking your GoPro footage further. Now that you've got your camera all set up and mounted and ready to go, it's time to get out there and start recording some footage and go have fun. Come back after you've got some footage and I'll show you how to transfer it over to your phone or computer. After you're done filming, you can transfer your GoPro photos and videos over to a phone, tablet, or computer. The easiest way to get it over to a phone or a tablet is just to use the GoPro Quick app. So you connect your camera again just like you did before, and when you go to the dialog screen for your camera, you can tap on View Media. It's going to show you all the media that's on your camera's micro SD card. A check mark by your image means that you've already downloaded it to the GoPro Quick app. So you can just scroll through and find a photo or video you want to look at. The icons will be slightly different if you're looking at a photo or video. If you tap on a video, you've got this icon here, it's at the bottom left corner, that's to download the footage over to your GoPro Quick app. The next one is to trim, so you can trim a portion of the clip to get a shorter portion. You can use this icon here to pull some amazing 24 megapixel photos straight from your videos, and it's going to do it at full resolution, so you're really taking advantage of that larger sensor on the Hero 11 Black. This icon here is to highlight moments if you see something you really want to remember, or you want the GoPro Quick app to recognize when it auto-edits a video for you. And over here, obviously, is the delete icon to delete that file. This icon is to share your videos or photos. I wouldn't share it directly through text or through the GoPro Quick app though, because it actually will lose quality. It's better to do it the way I showed you in another video, which is a little pain, but if you don't worry too much about the quality, you can use this. If you're a GoPro subscriber, you can also set up your camera to auto-upload all your footage to GoPro's cloud storage. Whenever your camera's plugged in your Wi-Fi network, it'll automatically upload to the cloud storage. GoPro will make an automatic highlight video for you every day with up to 75 clips and let you know on your phone when it's ready. But I'm not going to go into this because that's just for subscribers, and I know not all of you are subscribed to GoPro's service. The easiest way to transfer your photos and videos over to a computer is just to remove that micro SD card from your camera, put it into an SD card adapter, and put that in the slot on your computer if you have one, or buy one to plug into your computer. You can also transfer your photos and videos over using a USB cable directly to your computer, but a lot of people have been confused about that, so I'd recommend the SD card adapter if you have that option. Thank you guys so much for watching.
If you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly. You want to know a little secret? If you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly.